Pick up a sunscreen and look at the front. Some of those words were tested in a lab before anyone was allowed to print them. 2 of them were not. Nobody had to prove those 2. No rule says what they mean. And the reason you know that is the strangest part of the story because it took a county prosecutor to work it out. The front of a sunscreen looks like one list of facts. It is not. It is 2 lists, printed in the same font, in the same box, on the same day. Here is the rule that governs the front of a sunscreen sold in America. It says you may print SPF, and it says how to test for it. It says you may print broad spectrum, and how to test for that. It says water resistant, and it makes you print the minutes. It even bans 3 words for overclaiming: waterproof, sweatproof, sunblock. Now search that rule for the word reef. It is not there, not allowed, not banned, not mentioned once. Think of a school report card. The grades are marked by a teacher, but a sticker on the front that says star pupil was bought at a shop. Both are on the same page, only one was earned. Though there is no test to fail, no one to answer to, which is why the pushback, when it came, did not come from a sunscreen agency. It came from somewhere else. In 2018, Hawaii passed a law that made headlines everywhere. People still describe it as the state that banned sunscreen. That is not what it says. Act 104 was signed in 2018. It came into force on the 1st of January 2021. Those dates sit 3 years apart. People mix them up all the time. What it does is simple. Shops may not sell sunscreen with oxybenzone or octinoxate in it. Not unless a doctor writes you a note. And here is how narrow that is. NOAA lists 10 sunscreen chemicals it treats as a threat to marine life. Hawaii's law names 2 of them. The other 8 are on the shelf, untouched, in bottles you can buy on the island tomorrow. It is like a school banning 2 sweets from the lunchbox and calling the lunchbox healthy. The 2 are gone. Nobody looked in the rest of the bag. So a bottle can be legal in Hawaii and still be full of things that were never on the list. Hawaii compliant is a real, checkable claim. It just answers a much smaller question than most people think. You put it on, you swim, and some of it comes off. Everybody knows that part. The question is, what happens next? And the answer is not that it disappears. Work from Stanford found something odd. Corals and sea anemones take in oxybenzone and change it. Their own cells turn it into something that only does harm once the sun hits it. The creature builds the problem. It builds it out of the thing meant to stop it. It is a bit like a plant taking in something harmless from the soil and building a poison out of it. The soil did not do the damage. The plant did, with what the soil gave it. That is a real finding about one chemical in one setting. It is not a license to say every sunscreen poisons the sea. Notice how much smaller the true sentence is than the headline it turned into. Here is where the gap gets costly. No sunscreen rule covers the words reef safe, so nobody at a sunscreen agency can act on them. The one who did act was a district attorney in California using the plain old law against false ads. 3 companies in 1 county in 1 year. One paid $300,000 and stopped using the phrase. One paid $350,000 and was ordered not to print it or even draw a coral reef on the bottle. The third was sued in June and that case is still going. Read those the right way round. Nobody proved those sunscreens hurt a reef. What was challenged was printing a promise that nothing tests and nothing defines. It is like being fined for a sign in your shop window, not for the food inside. The sign made a promise. Nobody ever checked the food either way. All of that played out in a courtroom. Something much bigger was going on in the water. It had nothing to do with sunscreen. Between 2023 and 2025, 84% of the world's reefs were hit by heat stress. It is the 4th global bleaching event and by far the worst. The one before it reached 68%. The first one reached 21%. The cause is not in dispute and it is not in your bag. It is ocean heat. The sea is warmer and warm water makes coral throw out the algae it lives on. Picture a house with a small leak in the roof and a fire in the kitchen. The leak is real, you should still fix it, but it is not why the house is burning. Both things can be true at once. What washes off swimmers matters most in one crowded bay on a hot afternoon. It is a local pressure, it is worth reducing, and it is not what took 84% of the reefs. So you are standing in the shop holding a bottle. Which words on it are worth anything? Sort them. SPF was measured on real skin. Broad spectrum passed a laboratory test. Water resistant carries the minute it lasted. Reef safe was written by whoever designed the box, and Hawaii compliant only tells you 2 ingredients are missing. It is the difference between a passport and a badge you printed at home. One was checked by somebody. One says whatever you typed into it. None of that means give up and buy nothing. It means read the half of the label somebody had to earn and treat the other half as decoration. Here is the part that annoys people. It is not a brand. It is not a boycott. Cover up first, a shirt and a hat protect you and put nothing in the water at all. Then use sunscreen for the parts a shirt does not reach. In Hawaii, buy what the law allows and stop pretending that settles the question. Hawaii went further in 2025. A bill there would put mineral sunscreen on every state beach, in dispensers, with money set aside each year to keep them full. Which tells you where the people closest to the reef are heading. They are not telling anyone to stop. They are working out how to hand it to you. Though back to those two words. Nobody has to prove them, nobody tests them, and 2 companies have now paid to stop printing them. The reef needs the sea to cool down. You need the half of the label that was earned. Neither of those is on the front in big letters, and now you know which half to read. If this helped, we rank every sunscreen we can buy. We rank on what is in it, not on what is printed on the box. Subscribe and I will keep taking labels apart.